What's going on, world? It's Mr. Dreams to Reality, Coach Ford here. I'm excited to be back with y'all today. I told you I was going to bring Vision Part 2 today, and this is what we got going on. We're going to go Vision Part 2. So I'm trying out some new features, so bear with me. Y'all know I like to try out my features if you've been with me any length of time. Today's vision, this is part 2 of the vision, and there's a lot that I want to talk about here, right? Like I want to really dig deep into what vision is. So, staying aligned, growing together. Let's talk about something real here. Staying aligned with your vision. It is one thing to create a vision, but how do you stay consistent? And how do you grow when life throws curveballs at you? Today, I want to keep it simple. Let us break it down into practical ideas and questions you can ask. You can ask yourself or others to make sure you're on track, right? So, whenever I'm building this topic and when you're talking about a vision, what I'm doing is improving my ability to broadcast. What I'm doing is improving my ability to be a better presenter. What I'm doing is presenting a better idea of what it means for me to be a podcaster, right? And so obviously I'm messing with the light because I need to get it right. But the question I want to ask you today in Vision Part 2 is, what do you really want? At the heart of every vision is a desire. You have to ask yourself, what do I really want? Why does it matter to me? For me, becoming a multimillionaire, I understand that it's not the impact for me that I'm leaving. It's the impact for my family. It's the impact of generations. It's the impact of saying, hey, when you come work with Coach Ford, whether it's on the basketball court or whether it's working with my e-com store, or you're doing a podcast with me, there's an example and there's a vision, right? And so for me, my vision is about the legacy and creating something that's much bigger than myself. And I ask you, what about you? What is your driving force at home? What is the thing that's driving you to be the best that you can be? And saying, okay, how do I go from where I am to where I'm going to be? And for those who are following the journey, my vision is to be a podcaster. My vision is to become the best version of myself possible. I wrote a book about this. It's an action book. And the action book is about becoming the best part that you can be. And for me, I got away from my vision and God restored my vision. Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all the righteousness thereof it, and all things will be added unto you. So, that's the ultimate vision. But God gives all of us a purpose and things that we need to be focused on and we need to be aligned with. So I would ask you today, is the things you're doing today taking you away from your vision or moving you towards your vision? Is it taking you closer to the thing that you really want to be a part of? Or is it saying, hey, I had this vision, had this idea, I have this concept, but I don't know how to completely put it together. And so for me, I'm starting to ask myself, what am I doing today that's bringing me closer to the vision? Am I getting closer to my vision, or is it pulling me away from the vision? For example, figuring out how to use teleprompter on my podcast. But that gets me closer to the vision, so I can keep my talking points in alignment, so I can keep my conversations better, so I can be a much better person in this podcasting space for people, right? I'm creating content for other people, not creating content for me. And that would be a very selfish reason. For me, I notice I spend way too much time on things that don't move the needle. So I have to cut those distractions out. I want you to ask yourself at home, what is something that you need to cut out? For me, not just mindlessly scrolling on Facebook, not just getting wrapped up in day-to-day conversations that are not important, that are not $1 million conversations. And it's not that I'm better than anybody. I want you to understand this. When I say this, it's not that I'm better than anybody. I just have a vision, and part of that vision is not pointless conversations. And I'm not saying not to be in community with people, not to have conversations with people. I really want that to be understood. Like that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is I realize that spending time with people who dream bigger than me pushes me to think bigger too, and not just and that doesn't make me better than anybody. And I want you to ask yourself, are the people around me pushing me to be better? What is something you can do to adjust what you're doing on your day-to-day basis? Are you surrounding yourself with people who uplift you and challenge you? Who is in your life that helps you keep your vision alive? Who in your life is helping you drive that vision forward? And it's really difficult when you live in a world where people want to box you into the thing they want you to be. And I'm very resistant to that. I'm very resistant to being boxed into the beliefs of other people, what they want for me. And that's not the vision I have. The vision I have written on my board is I am a multimillionaire. I am the next Steve Jobs. I am at that level with those guys. Those guys are regular people. They just chose to pursue their vision. And they chase after the vision. And it's so important that after you develop your vision, you understand, where is it that I'm going? Where do I need to go? And so I challenge you, stop this video if you don't have a vision. I'm here to coach you through the vision. If you need help, you can email me at fordxmedia@gmail.com, or you can find me on Coach Ford Speaks on Instagram and Coach Ford Speaks on Threads. I'll be more than happy to work with you and help you develop your vision. But I really want you to ask yourself about this alignment goal. Who in your life has that effect on you? Who in your life that you can say, hey, this is my vision. How do we get there? For me, I'm struggling with certain things in life, and I'm gonna have to continue to seek God and pray to God. That's my main source. I got to stay yielded to the source. But in the same breath, being aware of the small wins, being aware of gratitude. Like, I had to do some housework, and we got some unfortunate news. And so it's not that it was going to break us, because God is the source, but it's saying, okay, what is this? Like, we have to reframe these things. Like, I'm not sitting up here saying I don't have day-to-day normal situations, right? But I can't let, these one moment in time determine the future or the vision. Like, that can't derail the vision, or you're not convicted enough to live through your convictions. And so it's important that you keep the wins, right? Like, we got to go out last night. We got to go spend some time with small business owners I've become good friends with over the years. And that's a huge win, right? Because I've been wanting to get over there, and the basketball season's kicking off. But, my job as a coach and a mentor is to relay the information and the truth. It's not just hype, hype, hype all the time. And, oh, things are all grand, and that's not teaching anybody anything. But what I do to overcome that is I reframe the conversation. I reframe the discussion. I reframe what it means. So, I ask you right now, what is a win you're most proud of? What is something you can say you're excited about? For me, I just got Facebook monetization. That to me is a blessing. It's a major blessing. And I thank God for that. And I thank God for the opportunity to have the ability to make money online, and the ability to see this right here. My grandma and my family couldn't understand this. It's a different world that they live in. And so, it's cool to me to understand that, to live in this time. And so your vision is not rigid. It evolves and it develops as you grow. So as you grow as an individual, it changes. Be okay with adjusting your path without losing sight of the bigger picture. And that's where I was. I lost sight of the bigger picture. And thankfully, God kept me, right? Jesus came to me and wrapped his arms around me and showed me, hey, we're going to get you where you're supposed to be. Just keep going. And it's difficult, and it's hard to fight uh, the flesh, because it's so drawn to the negativity. I used to think success meant one specific thing, but I've grown to realize it's more about freedom and impact. And that's my biggest focus. And the biggest reason why I want to be a multimillionaire is the freedom to choose, the freedom to impact, the freedom to say, nobody owns me. Nobody owns my time. I own that. I only yield to God as the sovereign ruler of my life. And and it shifted my definition of success. And so when you hear that, does it shift your definition of success? Type in the comments. But what do you view as success? What do you view as something that really drives you? Do you talk to others about your vision? Talking to other people about your vision makes it feel real. It gives it momentum. And it's difficult sometimes because you'll get hit with a notice, like your insurance is about to be canceled in 30 days. Crazy. Like, what? Anyways, but stuff like that. And it's like, God's not surprised by these things, right? And so, you got to keep your North Star. You got to keep focused on the vision. You got to pull the vision out. I pull the vision out every single day now and read it. And I got to force myself to read it, because, the ego, the fleshly ego be like, nah, wallow in your pity. No, it's counted as all joy. And I'm one with God and God is with me. And I tell myself that every single night is I'm one with God and God is with me. And so it's important to stay focused on that. It's important to say, where am I going? Where we're going? And so when you have a shared vision, when you share that vision with people, they often have resources for you. And so when I shared my vision with people, they connect me with the resources I didn't know that even existed, or they connect me with people that I didn't know was available. And so that's so important. And so, you never know who you're talking to. You never know what conversations your visions could draw, and you never know. And so I want to leave you on this. Your vision is not just about dreaming big. It's about taking small intentional steps every day. It's about being patient with the process, celebrating along the way. And so when you celebrate along the way, it gives you an opportunity to grow as an individual. It gives you an opportunity to stretch, right? And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you it's difficult, right? But disruption, as Myron Golden always says, disruption always follows intention. And when you're being intentional with something and you're being intentional with your life, expect disruption. Expect things to happen. Expect it. But someone gave me the sign I talked about in the last video. Winning is a habit, right? Being focused on the future, being focused on the things that are capable, being focused on those things is easier said than done. But that's why you practice positivity. That's why you practice positive reinforcement. That's why you practice as much as you can pushing past your limitations. Right? That's why my podcast is called Rise Above Potential. Right? I want you to rise above your potential. I want you to rise above this situation and become the best version of yourself possible. That's why I wrote the book, Just Do Your Job. And so as I improve my podcasting skills, as I improve my abilities, as I improve where I'm at, I'm understanding I have a long way to go in this YouTube space. I have a long way to go in content monetization, and not so much because of the money, but because of myself, to see my own self growth, to say, okay, can I put out a video every single day? Can I put out a video every week? Can I improve? Can I get better? Can I tell the story better? Can I improve as an individual? And then see myself, right? I noticed that I don't yawn as much in my videos anymore. I noticed that my speech is improving. I noticed that my conversations are becoming better. And because my conversations are that's becoming important in all areas of my life, and slowing down before I just speak and saying, okay, what does this situation teach me? What am I really learning here? What are some things that I need to really be thinking about as an individual, as a coach, as a professional, as a father, as a husband, as an ambassador and citizen and kingdom of God? What does that look like? And I fight, right? Because we're warring within ourselves between the spirit and the things of the flesh, and that's why God gives us this vision of what it means to be in His kingdom, what it means to be in His vision, and what that looks like. Righteousness, right? Loving other people, forgiving people, and I've had to learn to forgive people. That does not mean, and I want to tell you this, in your vision and being a kingdom citizen of God, right? That does not mean, and when you believe in faith in Jesus, that does not mean not hold them accountable to the standards, right? I think people oftentimes miscue that as, well, you're just being mean. It's like, no, I have a standard and an aspect of my life, right? And so it's important that I stand on that. I stand on that, the importance of that. And so, it's weird because I look at myself in this side, but the camera's here. And so that's just something I have to improve on, and understanding that I got to look directly into the camera, and I need a second camera so I can see if I'm looking at the camera and knowing. And so, part of that is growth and development. And, you don't want to be awkwardly staring into a corner camera, but, it's part of the growth. It's part of the understanding of, where do I need to go now? What's the next step? What's the next place? And, I'm excited. I'm excited to see, how this podcast grows. I'm excited to see how the 4X brand grows. I'm excited to see how the Now Faith by 4X brand grows. I'm excited to see how my own coach life grows as I impact lives. And I really understand that my purpose is to yield to God and serve other people. And the better I get at that, the more understanding. I feel myself fighting within myself with past mistakes, right? And that's not of God. And so I'm going to have to really pray about that. And so I would recommend fasting and prayer and asking God to come in and help alleviate some of that worry and doubt. And so I've done a ton of videos on it. So I'm not getting on here saying that I don't deal with those things. So you learn to manage it. You learn to put those things in their proper form and use them and talk to them and say, okay, what is this teaching me? What is this feeling? What is this barrier? Is this an insecurity of fear that it can't happen? What does this really mean? What does this feeling really mean? What does this emotion tell me? And so I think the more you understand these things, and the more you read and you write and you have conversations, the most powerful thing I found is writing. I feel the most powerful when I'm writing. I feel the most powerful when I'm visualizing, when I go into just the zone of writing and communicating and talking to God. And that's when I feel the most powerful, because it takes off all the pressures of trying to keep it all in my head. Right. And that's why it's good to write. That's why it's good to journal. And I recommend that for anybody. And so part of your vision, you should write and put in talking about your feelings, talking about the things you're dealing with. And I think it's important. And so, as I improve my speech, some of these I come in are hyped up. Some of these I just come in wanting to teach. And that's part of being a teacher, is saying, okay, uh, I don't want to be too monotone. I don't want to be too off kilter. But I appreciate y'all listening today. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. This wasn't a sad tone at all, but I really wanted to teach and slow down and teach. And I wanted to follow my points. And I want to get better at communicating my speech. And I wanted to get better at not that I just freelance it, but I wanted to get away from freelancing every single video and actually work on um, the content. I want to work on improving. I want to work on my speech. I want to work on delivering the message. And I want to get better at that. And I want to see what that looks like. And so if you could do me a favor, give me feedback on that. If you don't like it, great. Hit the unlike button. If you like it, great. If you struggle with vision, share it with me at Coach Ford Speaks on Instagram. And so like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. And I just want to remind you, your vision is not just about dreaming big. It's about taking small, intentional steps every single day. It's about being patient with the process and celebrating along the way. Thanks for tuning in today. Keep checking in with yourself. Keep celebrating those small wins. And tune in next week, because there might be a part 3. I don't know. But I think I'm going to stay on this for a while. I think it's an important topic now that we've talked about creating vision, why the vision is important. And staying aligned with the vision. I'm going to have a part 3 on building off the alignment. What are some things you can do on a day-to-day basis on celebrating those wins? All right, guys, it's been Coach Ford Speaks, Mr. Dreams to Reality. Have a good day.